You are now tuned in to your number one radio station.
87.9.
The truth is out there. Follow us.
We interrupt this program for a special report by WKMU.
Staten Island, New York. Good morning, Earth. It's time to get up. I'm your host, Blue.
And I'm Sky. And today we're going to do things a little differently. We're going to go a little off course we usually do strange and wonderful.
These are all strange and wonderful.
Well, yeah, maybe but they're not wonderful. The same. They're not the same as we normally do.
These are strange and disturbing stories going on this week.
And we can't not talk about it. And we had another episode actually lined up. We're going to do we're going to rewatch Beetlejuice and then talk about it since it's coming out this year. And I actually went on Twitter and I promoted that. Like, yeah, we'll check out it. Like, and now they're gonna be like, this isn't.
Now, because like this week, if you've been keeping up with everything, a lot of weird stuff has been coming out, and it's just been on our mind all week. All we want to talk about are these topics. So we're gonna get into it today, and kind of keep you guys informed on what's going on in case you haven't heard it.
Or you heard it and you just want to hear our take on it and our jokes and
or if
our
you're
personality.
Like me, if you're like me, I like to hear the same stories from different people. I don't know why.
I've heard the same story like 4 or 5 different ways.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get more information because somebody will have information you didn't know.
That's true.
Like, they looked at this and the other person didn't think that was important.
Well,
so
I definitely listen in hoping.
I just drooled a little bit.
I definitely listen in hoping to learn something new. A lot of the times we don't, though.
Yeah, so let's just get right into it.
So, yeah, hope you learn something new.
And just a little, I guess, a heads up for people. I guess they call it spoiler alert. What do they call it if you're sensitive? Like, oh, be careful of this episode.
It's called a trigger warning.
Oh, trigger warning. This episode does involve murder, sex crimes, violence, and other disturbing things. Yeah. So if you're
acts against, the younger, more vulnerable folks.
Yeah. And if you're not ready for that, it's time to shut us off. And if you're too high, just listen to us later. It'll be fine. So let's get into our first story.
So, of course, we're going to start with the Baltimore, Maryland boat crash, because that happened like a day or two ago. And it was weird because, you wake up in the middle of the night, kind of check your Facebook, and you see that a whole bridge was collapsed.
Yeah, and they had video of it. Like, the dude literally started recording. I don't know if there was more recording.
I think they saw, the boat kind of not in the right spot. Because, anytime we see a boat, it's like, is that going to fit? Is that going to fit?
So first off, if you look at the video that they're showing, you actually see what looks like a fire in the background. What happened was their power went out.
Yeah.
And they couldn't steer. So they tried to get tugboats to come back and to move them. But they did get their power back, but it was too late. And it was actually billowing smoke because it's like a short. Like it came back fast. It just kind of like overpowered everything. And it was just too late.
Yeah, if you see the video, it's like the boat, the lights are out, then the lights come back on, then the lights go out, then the lights come back on, and then it's like, I think it goes out again, and then it's already
So before we get ahead of stuff, in case you didn't hear this, a shipping container left Maryland's dock and went underneath the Key Scott Bridge, and about 5 minutes before it got there, it started to lose power. 3 minutes before it hit, it started sending out warnings. The police got the bridge gone. Didn't let anybody else onto the bridge, but like a minute or two before it crashed, they realized there's people on the bridge.
Yeah, doing like maintenance and stuff.
And I think you said they were all like immigrants from South America.
Yeah, something that the news doesn't mention is that a lot of them were from Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. So, it's like... What's fucked up is like there's a lot of issues right now with immigration in America. I guess we've always had an issue with immigration, but it's becoming like a little more tense. Yeah, hold on. It's just so it's like for these immigrants to have been killed, kind of keeping maintenance of these bridges. That is actually a really important bridge. Like people are freaking out and they're saying that this might be like a global crisis because this bridge got knocked down.
Yeah, because they have to redo the way they think of shipping and bridges.
No, just in general.
No, yeah, I read
stuff
the
that
same
passes
thing.
through the bridge.
Exactly
like,
what I just said.
Fucked up.
But from the 1980s, since 1980, engineers have been saying that this bridge cannot take any kind of hit from a container ship glancing, like just like a little edge on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that too is like, why make it just strong enough to be held up Why not backup supports?
They always do shit like that though.
Yeah,
like a lot of like construction people,
everywhere.
like they just kind of half-ass shit.
Don't they do at your job too, where it's like you find things that can be mistakes and like, oh, this is going to be a huge problem for us, and they're like, we'll deal with it when it comes here.
Yeah, I do mention things a lot at my job, but that's like, customer service. Like, it's not as serious as a fucking bridge construction. Like,
but it definitely
really shouldn't. It's like we brought this up in another episode. The Apple Store on like 19th Street in Manhattan. Like, there's this giant staircase when you walk in. There's this big staircase. Apparently, there's screws missing on that staircase, and it's like nobody cares because nothing's wrong right now.
I think that's definitely the American culture. Mm-hmm. That's like
to half-ass stuff, yeah.
Well, not even half-ass. Like there's going to be an issue, and like you figure it out, and then you're just like, you know what? Let's just leave it, and maybe it won't happen. And then 10, 15, 20
no, and then
you
put the immigrants to work on the bridge because whatever. Like it's a high-risk job, and they're gonna bring them out because that's what America does.
It was also overnight too. And we don't know if these were legal immigrants. I think the immigration problem right now is not that we have immigrants coming in; it's that there's so many coming in illegally.
Right, no, but
America,
I'm just saying.
Basically, is hey, if you want to come here, come through normal, so we can give you your social security number. Mm-hmm. We could get you part of the system. And if
no one's saying that these people were illegal, though. I'm just saying the fact that they were immigrants is important to the story.
Yes,
because we always lean on them about
that there's an immigrant issue in America right now. And what I'm saying is, I think the big thing of it is because it's illegal immigrants. We don't know what the status of this is. So it could be fair to say, hey, maybe they were out there because they're illegals and they just wanted somebody to just, Americans don't want to work hard.
I wasn't making that connection.
Else. That's what it sounded like on my end. And I don't know if you listeners will pick up on that. But on my end, it was like, oh, they were immigrants, so that's why they were out there.
No, I'm saying that we like to talk shit about immigrants, but then they're the ones doing these high-risk jobs.
Oh, that's always America,
That's what I'm pointing out, that I think that it's important to the story to know that these people came from another country and they're helping us, survive.
But
and
if you know American
they're
history,
the foundation of America.
But if you know American history, then you know that this is a foundation that we've always had.
Right.
Whether it's Chinese people building the railroads in California, Irish people coming over, Italians, like there was only, and when we first started this country, it was basically British people.
I guess, yeah.
Then people started to immigrate over, and then what they call white people. But the white people in those places didn't call each other white people. They weren't like, oh, you're my brother. No, you're Italian, you're Irish, you're Polish, you're this, so stay away from me. I'm in my Irish neighborhood, stay in your Italian neighborhood. And and then eventually at one time they're just like, you know what, you're all just white. Like you're all just white.
They just lumped everybody.
But it is sad because 8 people were actually on the bridge. 2 were found in the water alive. I just wonder,
did they forget about them? Like I just don't understand.
No, they knew about them. But you got to remember,
they left them up there.
You got to remember this happened 3 minutes before the crash, so that's not a lot of time. Oh shit, we need to get the bridge. So someone's like, oh, let's clear off the bridge. Let's get cops there. So how do they even get cops there in 3 minutes? Like you really have to. So then it's like, oh, we got this.
Did they at least give them a chance? Like I don't know.
Enough of a chance that 2 survived. I mean, I don't think anything was done maliciously or by accident, or they just didn't have time. They're basically 3 minutes, and 3 minutes right now. We've been talking for 7 minutes.
And I'm honestly,
so half that time was trying to get, half the time we was someone trying to get somebody off. And there's actually recordings of somebody being like, hey, we have people on the bridge. You should talk to the foreman and get them off the bridge until this is over.
It just really bothers me a little bit. Like, I feel like, if they weren't immigrants, if they were like American born or whatever, like I do wonder if we would have did more. I'm not trying to start any issues by saying that. It's just me saying like I wonder.
Yeah, I understand because
if they would have did something a little bit more, if they would have been more like.
Nah, they had no time.
Like even right now,
the boat was
even right now, they're still
from the bridge when they found out. There's like no time.
Even right now, there's 4 bodies still in the water that they're gonna halt looking for. They're pretty much dead. We're just gonna wait. And I wonder if they would have, if this was an American man, if they would have been like, no, we need his body. The family needs it to grieve or whatever.
Of course they're gonna look for it. What they're saying right now is it's under rubble. Mm-hmm. It's under a ship. It's probably in a car. It's probably loose, and it probably washed away in the river, in the ocean, and it's probably not there.
I just wonder if.
I think that's part of the problem, though. Like when people are trying their best to save somebody, you still got people saying, well, did they do what they could do?
I'm wondering. I think that's an okay thing to do.
Yeah, to a point. But this is there's literally recordings of people saying, "Hey, you got people on the bridge. We gotta get them off." 3 minutes is not a lot of time.
Okay.
You can't even get off the.
I understand that there was no way of saving them. I'm talking about now about looking for their bodies. Like, would they? I wonder if they,
Of course they would.
if it was different, if it would have been the same thing that they would do.
No, of course they would. No, what kind of PR nightmare would that be? Oh, you didn't look for the brown people. You got your white people up, but you didn't get the brown people.
Yeah, but it's not like it would really
That's
be
a stretch.
that bad.
It's a stretch. I think it's dangerous to be going underneath collapsed bridges and ships with divers looking for people. And it's like, hey, maybe we should clean this up a little bit because at this point, it's like the Titan thing all over again.
Mhm.
They're dead. They're not going to find them right
and
now.
to Titanic, because wasn't there like a fire on the boat too on this cargo ship, like that before it crashed into?
No, that's the smoke. Everyone thinks it's fire. It was just the smoke from the power turning back on, and with the lights flickering, it looked like fire. But they didn't have control of the ship for like a good 5-10 minutes. And then they started putting warnings out. Like
I wonder how terrifying it must be because the people on the boat, or whoever was witnessing this,
everyone on the boat survived too, by the way.
Right, so the people on the boat, they already know what's going to happen. They probably know those 3 minutes.
Well, they don't know they're going to hit the bridge. They're hoping they're not going to, but they notice that they're starting drifting over.
Yeah, imagine how terrifying. Like, even like in the Titanic.
Nothing. You can't turn it.
Right.
He was like, please, everybody, please get the engines back on. We need the engines on. Go.
Right.
Imagine being in your high stressful work and somebody wants, replace napkins. Like, get the napkins. This lady's going crazy for fucking napkins. I just want to get the damn. They're going
it'll
crazy
be
to
something.
Save somebody's life. It's like it's so much more intense. Like, please, I don't want to be the captain who kills people. I don't want to be the captain who knocks over a bridge.
Yeah.
Like, let's do, and it's not like, I don't want somebody to think badly. No, you just don't want to feel that internally. Like, how do you think he's sleeping tonight?
Yeah.
And you say, well, it's not his fault. Well, I don't know. That ship had a couple of, inspections. And 2 of the times they had to shut them down because they wasn't fit for traveling. So again, it sounds like the Titan thing where it's not properly working, but we're going to keep going until it breaks down and whatever happens.
Mm.
And we need to stop that. And then next up on the list, Blue made me watch something on Netflix, and
was it Netflix?
I believe so.
I think it's on Hulu. No, wait.
It's on. I don't know. I feel like Netflix is known. Look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure it's Netflix. But I think I'm assuming you all know what I'm talking about. That Nickelodeon. I guess they didn't call it the Nickelodeon documentary, but it was basically the Nickelodeon documentary.
It's on Max.
Oh.
And Hulu. Oh wait, no, it's on Max. It's on HBO Max.
I just assume Netflix is always like the documentary stuff.
It's called Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV. So I guess they might do a couple seasons and maybe talk about different shows. Networks. Yeah.
Maybe go hit up Boy Meets World.
Because the first one,
the Disney Channel.
Yeah, so they talked about Nickelodeon. They briefly talked about Disney because some of the abusers from Nickelodeon got jobs at Disney. So that was like really weird. And the documentary really exposes a lot of things that we didn't know. And it was hard to watch just because I grew up watching these shows. And then now hearing that these are all perverted jokes that they made these kids do, I like they were ignorant towards what they were doing, but it's still fucked up, and they were being taken advantage of.
Yeah, and also how they were treated like behind the cameras.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing them like, oh, everything's great, and then to know that internally they're just they're sad.
They were abused, taken advantage of, and then they still had to smile and go to work because their families depended on their money too.
Yeah.
Like it was really fucked up.
And this is all alleged, but Dans Schneider, we've all heard like inklings about his foot fetish and all these other things. Honestly, he is deeply perverted. He's definitely out there. I thought he was involved in more of the creepy, gross stuff that some of his coworkers got in trouble for. Like, I'm a little surprised they didn't go further with him.
Well, they didn't. Right. I think that there was more to tell with the Dans Schneider thing. I think he did more than what the documentary said.
This is just an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they couldn't find out what he did because he hid it so well.
Because Amanda Bynes, she didn't want to be a part of it. And I think if she would have came in and said a couple things, I think we would have found out more stuff.
Just so we don't get sued.
Okay.
Oh, but yeah, I feel the same thing.
This is all of our opinions.
Thank you.
Go form your own opinions, everybody.
But I feel you because look at how, what was his name? Drake Bell?
Mm-hmm.
Look how he was, like, after he got his assault. He was like, Dan Schneider was there for me. So it feels like he very much like latched on to a couple people and just like, I don't want to say brainwashed because maybe they're not brainwashed. Maybe behind Dan Schneider's weird feet jokes and coming on girls' faces jokes, that maybe there is a loving person down there, and that's who it is. But it also looks like you have to look at the other things that this documentary showed. Makes you wonder if he didn't groom these kids to be like, oh no, I'm good. Whatever I do, it's okay. Like it's okay, I do it right.
I think what was wrong with Dan Schneider is that he knew that the kids didn't know what they were doing, and what he did was maybe groom all the adults around him. Everybody was terrified to disagree with him or not do some of the things that he wanted. So I think so. I don't know if he necessarily groomed the kids. I think that he took advantage of their ignorance, and then for example, I don't know. There was a joke made, and he told the adults in the room not to explain the joke to the kid, and to make sure that nobody explains the joke to the kid.
Yeah, otherwise they would
and
feel
it's
weird
like
doing
that's
it.
fucked up. He's manipulating them and stuff.
But
and then the adults in the room were also scared to lose their jobs, so they were like, "Fine, we're not gonna."
But you know what I also noticed too with it is that they definitely he picked favorites, Dan, and that really affected other kids on the show. Like they weren't one of his favorites. There was one kid who came on and says, yeah, childhood actor, he became an alcoholic. And I thought, this one I don't get because I'm a little confused, but this was like, oh, I became an alcoholic because I could get no more jobs after this. So it's like, so wait, you don't have a problem with Dan Schneider, Nickelodeon, anything like that. You just couldn't get another job, so you became an alcoholic. You can't blame that on Nickelodeon because you couldn't get another job.
Okay, I think you misunderstood that guy.
I don't think I misunderstood. So please tell me, how did I misunderstand him? What did he mean?
I think that he was traumatized by the jokes that they were making when
That's
he
not what he
realized
said.
that they were. Yeah, it is. We'll rewatch the whole thing because I think you're literally.
He was only put on.
picking
No,
the,
he was only put
conclusion
on.
part.
He was only put on camera twice.
That's fine.
And each time he didn't say that anybody did anything wrong to him.
They did though.
One time he was said that he wasn't one of the favorites, and that
They made
bothered
him dress like a fetus.
No,
and
that's
all
a
that.
different guy.
Okay,
That's a different black kid. Sorry, you can't tell the difference. I guess.
I'm pretty sure it's the same. guy,
No, it's
but okay.
not. It's not. But because that one kid, yeah, he had a beard, but this kid was a little chubby. Anyway, I definitely feel like some part of it is Dan picked his favorites, and that pissed other people off. But he also did weird stuff more with his, like you said, without people knowing. So and then you let these pedophiles on the show, and then they kind of maybe they didn't know, but then they sent them somewhere else. They sent them to another network. They sent one of the you touched one of my kids. All right, we'll just send you to Disney Channel.
So I think because he did it, there's no proof that he physically hurt anybody. All he did was come up with these perverted jokes. I think Nickelodeon loves those perverted jokes because they got people to view the show. Like it got adults into it who were also perverted. Because apparently America has a huge problem. I mean, I know it's not just America, but I only know what's going on in my country.
America's a little bit more jaded when it comes to sex stuff. It's more open in Europe. There's actually less sex crimes and alcoholism in Europe.
But America
they
is
introduced alcohol sooner, and they introduced sex, and it's not taboo. Here, it's so taboo, and oh, don't do it. It makes us feel ashamed, and when you start feeling ashamed, when you're so ashamed, you do things that you don't like. We were young before. We always remember that one person we slept with, we were ashamed of, but we did it because we were in a spot where we were lonely, sad, upset, and it's like a weakness. It's like we need to be loved.
Okay, no, I'm saying that America has an issue with being perverted towards children.
Oh yeah, but that's part of it. I think because we're so told not to be sexualized and stuff. That
because you shouldn't sexualize children.
Exactly. I'm not saying against children. I'm saying in general. I'm saying these people who work with children kind of then fold that into that because it's and then look what he did. Don't tell the kids because it's taboo.
Right.
So it's just I'm almost saying is it's just all weird.
Yeah,
America
and I'm
is
saying
in general.
that Nickelodeon liked it because Americans were tuning in to see the perverted jokes.
Yeah.
And so Nickelodeon loved Dan because Dan got the viewings. And what Dan was doing was what America wanted to see and hear.
And now that it's a more open
maybe
PC culture, everyone now is like, oh, that's terrible. But y'all
and then I
tuned
think
in
that
every week.
maybe America
Again,
wasn't
these are
really.
kid shows too. Kids don't know what's going on sometimes. They just see a kid show.
So I
watch.
think that what America found more entertaining is that the people they got to perform these acts didn't know what the acts meant. And I think America thought that was even funnier. You know what I'm saying?
If you remember at the end of the documentary, Dan Schneider even says too,
Yeah, there were other adults in the room who
no,
approved it.
No. Oh, not even in a room. He sent these skits up to the headquarters of Nickelodeon. They were like, "Oh, foot joke, funny.
Right.
Come on the girl's face. Oh, it's lotion, funny. Oh, rubbing this girl's feet, funny." It's like he's basically saying, "Yeah, maybe I was wrong." But
Americans
there's
kept
more
tuning
people
in.
wrong too.
People
Yeah,
kept tuning in. Like
and
there's so
Nickelodeon's like, people
many
still
examples.
tuning in. Keep doing what you're doing because people love it.
Exactly. And
America's
even at my job,
definitely creepy.
yeah,
Definitely
even at my
creepy.
job, I have a manager.
Creepiest country I know.
Right. I have a manager. She's an asshole. She's just a dick to everybody. And her boss won't get rid of her. They're like, well, she keeps everybody in line and, we're making money, so I'm not going to get rid of her. And it's fucked up. It's like we're all being abused and we all just deal with it because we all need a job. It feels like Nickelodeon at my job, honestly. And you kind of have to just be nice and play nice because it's your job.
Well,
And,
it kind of goes to what we're talking
fucked up.
about with the boat too, where it's like America's culture. To know that there could be things could go wrong, and instead of setting up things to stop the things from going wrong, they just let it go until the bridge crashes, until the building falls down, till like somebody gets blown up, and then it's like, all right, well, I guess we'll fix it now.
Yeah.
And it just seems like, yo, you could have did this in the '90s, like right away, like this is weird, and okay, maybe we could keep some of these jokes in, but you got to stop flashing little girls in bikinis and showing their feet off. Like,
Yeah, I just don't get why it had to be kids performing the jokes.
Yeah, and then you
I
got
don't
people
know.
like one of your friends who we watched this movie about girls dancing.
Oh yeah, there's this movie that came out in France, and it's about these like 4 girls, like 12 years old,
Yeah, don't say teens. They weren't teens.
dancing for it's like a dance competition kind of thing, and then the girls are doing weird stuff like twerking and all this, camera zooming in on their butts, twerking.
Booty
They're
shorts
12
too.
years old.
Like, and then what they were like
And
little
like,
brassieres.
yeah,
and-
they were
and
wearing
shorts,
like just
booty
the
shorts.
most minimal clothing and stuff, and everybody was talking about this film, so I wanted to check it out. And the whole time I'm like cringing,
Yeah, my
watching
stomach
this
felt
movie.
so weird.
It felt really disgusting, and maybe it's because I am American, and America has a fucking problem, and we should not be showing these little girls on the TV. And my friend who he was the one that put it on, he came over, he put it on, and he
Big
said
surprise on
that
that
he
one.
doesn't think that it was a big deal because it played in France, and the girls' parents approved it, and so it's okay for us to watch it because
Didn't
all
he
the
say
adults,
something-
hold on, all the adults said that it was all right, and I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. Like, us consciously have to protect children, even if their parents are not protecting them. We need to protect
Yeah,
them.
parents are known for not protecting their children.
Like,
Most
and
of
I
them
had to
do, but there's
stop.
some.
I had to stop being friends with that guy.
Yeah, didn't he say something about like being attractive or something like that? Like, did he make like some kind
I
of?
think he did say something
Like, I had
that
to
one of
walk
them
away.
was cute.
Yeah, I had to walk away. I'm like, I'm
And
going
then,
outside.
later on, he admitted to me that he would do stuff with a 12-year-old if the mom said it was okay. And that made me feel really disgusted. Like, that's not okay. I don't give a fuck if her parents approved it. It's not right. That little girl doesn't know what you're doing to her. Like, it's not cool.
Well, that's the pervertedness. People like, oh, if somebody okayed it, it's okay for me to do it.
It's
Like
not.
it's like with the building, the bridge falling down. Oh, someone okayed for us not to fix it. Okay, so we're not going to fix it.
Yeah, no, it's true. At some point, like, where does your morals step in? Do you have any morals?
So if you want to ruin your childhood and hear some disturbing stories, check it out. What is it called again?
Quiet on
Discovery?
set. A kid. Something.
Four-part episodes. Was it?
Yeah, but another thing about the on-set thing, everybody talked about Dan Schneider, but there were other guys there doing fucked up things. Like, one of them sent a nude to one of the little girls. He would exchange numbers with them.
Mhm.
They went into his house, and there's like a whole bunch of child porn in there and stuff. And then I think that guy went on to work at Disney too.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, that show really revealed a lot of things that we didn't know was going on. And his name was John Handy. And then there's Brian
Also,
Peck.
Brian Peck,
It
yeah.
was revealed that he was abusing Drake Bell this whole time. And it was really sad. It's hard to watch. It's hard to listen to. And I know Drake Bell had his own things going on.
But how do you? I don't
But, yeah.
like. This is the problem with power. And the movie industry has lots of power, just like the music industry, which we'll get into next. And it seems like with these absolute power corrupts absolutely. They feel like they could do whatever they want. No one's going to tell them what, and they know what they're doing is wrong, and they know that most people won't let them do it, so they're like hiding it. But they have enough power with like these children who are vulnerable because they don't necessarily know what's going on. They don't know if they can talk out, and these are the people they spend all their days with because they're at school there, they work there. They do like 3 hours of school there, then they go to work. Like that's how like Boy Meets World used to do that. They used to do 3 hours of school and then they would do like 5 hours of recording or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it makes sense now because whenever I see a picture of Drake, I always look like, why does he look so sad? And now it's like, now we know why he looks so sad sometimes.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for his family. I really hope that the celebrities that wrote letters kind of defending Brian Peck, hoping that he would get less time or whatever. Like,
Oh yeah, that was weird.
I really hope they come forward and apologize. I think that's the least they could do.
Well, Drake Bell's actually mad at Will Fidel and Ryder Strong, who played Eric Matthews and Sean Hunter on Boy Meets World, because they sent letters like that and they won't apologize.
Right.
And it's like, at the time, maybe, let's be honest, we all know somebody who, even if they got like busted for drugs or something like that, it's always, oh, I didn't think they could do that. Because no one really thinks anybody they love would do something like that. So it's like hard for people to understand that. So they're like, oh, well, obviously you didn't do that. Let me show support. But after like so much evidence came out and he's saying, yeah, he did. And like people like don't want to apologize. It's like, you know how alone you made that kid feel? Like he came out and said like, and then everyone's just like, meh. Let's take his side. Let's take the pervert side over the kid side.
Yeah, I think that Drake Bell is a very strong person. Because anybody else would have not been here for that. Like they would have taken it to their grave, and they would have had a short life.
Especially let's
in my opinion,
it's also harder for a male to come out and say that they were attacked
I just
this way.
hope like he has guardian angels protecting him.
I don't know for sure, but that's how it feels.
And I hope the best for him. I know that like he might have abused somebody, but I still think that a lot of abusers were abused themselves, and we need to just break the cycle. Well, let's
not say, well, Drake Bell was abused, and as far as we know right now, he doesn't have any victims. Like yes, maybe there's a little extra push that way because that's what you learned, and you're because anytime you have trauma, it stunts you. So if you have trauma at 14, you kind of keep your 14-year-old mindset sometimes.
Right. That's why we need to protect children. Like I can't stress that enough.
Let's protect children and women, because I don't know
and
if you guys
boys and men.
I don't know if you guys remember though. We did a what if Vince McMahon had a hit list, and we talked about his sex trafficking. Now P. Diddy is being sued by Casey. Do you know Casey? She's a singer.
Of course.
I don't know.
Me and you. It's just me and you.
Oh, that's her?
Of course. That song's the
know.
best. I love that song.
So apparently she's suing, no criminal charges so far, but she's suing P. Diddy for raping her and then giving her off to sex workers and other people. Kind of like
he would beat her and abuse her. You know what's really
threaten
weird?
Make her keep a gun so she would feel like uneasy all the time.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? When I was a kid, I forget what grade I was in, so I don't know what year this was, but I saw Casey. I was at we was going to like a school trip to like a theater, and I saw Casey at a store, like a deli, and she looked kind of weird. Like she didn't look happy and stuff.
Reserved.
And like now hearing this, it makes me wonder if that was the same time frame where she was being abused. And she just
got abused and she just went out for like a sandwich to get out for the day or whatever.
Like I just wonder, what was going through her head. My whole life I was wondering what she was thinking about that day that I saw her.
Yeah, and they raided his house. I don't know what they're looking for.
They raided 2 houses. I think they're trying to find like, pictures or videos or contacts, some type of evidence of sex trafficking. And so that, Diddy came out that they raided his house, and all my coworkers were talking about it. So I was like, you know what? I got to do a little research. And like, it just turns out that Diddy, his whole life, was doing shitty stuff.
That's how generally it is. There's been stories about everybody throughout the years, and no one believes them.
I don't know, but like Usher, I don't know if y'all heard this. Usher came out that when he was like 13, he was staying with Diddy for a year in New York. And during that time, Usher saw a lot of shit that maybe he shouldn't have seen, like a lot of adult content and things like that. And there was somebody else who stayed with Diddy and said that Diddy made him do shit and like with a man, and said that, this is how the industry does shit like this. Like this is normal. And I don't know if it was Usher or someone else, but they were like that, you could walk into a room and there's somebody fucking there, or there are people having like an orgy or whatever. Like just kind of always like just a really high
that's what you
sexual
want, that too,
thing.
but like don't do it while there's a kid just walking around.
I don't know. Yeah, if that's what you want to do in your house, don't have a kid around to be exposed to that. That's just fucking weird. And I don't know why they thought that was okay. And then with Diddy, there's like this like conspiracy theory that he killed Biggie. He signs Biggie and then ended up killing Biggie. And everybody thought it was an East Coast West Coast situation, but I think maybe it has to do with Biggie.
There's also some talk
Diddy.
that he helped Tupac too.
Yeah.
But, although they arrested somebody for that. I don't know what happened to that. That kind of disappeared off the radar.
Right. Maybe we should look into that.
I'm trying to look for, because I got Twitter tweet. What do they call those tweets? Right?
An X.
I wish I could find it so I can tell you the guy's name, but he's basically said, "What if P Diddy is the Black Epstein? Like he's old now. They don't really need him, and they got a new generation that needs to come in, and he's still taking up too much power and too much money. And before you say, "Oh, it's conspiracy theory, can't be true," music industry is money. It's always about ripping off the people. So if they could throw some shade at somebody like, "Oh, you're taking up millions and millions, close to billions of dollars from us," like then we need to get you out so we can get somebody in cheaper, so we can pull more of that money for us.
Right. Like they're trying to get him out of the scene.
And look at it, Bill Cosby. Like he got too old, gotta get rid of him. He was the king of the comedies in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Epstein himself. Who's the other one?
What did Epstein contribute
Wiener.
to society besides being a fucking pervert?
Just money. Like he didn't need money.
Like,
he just had money. Like people needed money. I don't know. And then there's a second lawsuit at least. And this one actually was who was this? His manager, Rodney Jones, $30 million, and then he has a list, and the list included Stevie J. I don't know who that is. This one says a redacted name of a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj, and I think, just opinion, that I think this is Mac Miller's brother, Meek Miller.
What?
Yeah, Meek Miller. He's Mac Miller's brother, right? They are related.
It's Meek Mill, a black
Meek
dude.
Mill.
Mac Miller, a white dude who died.
Why can't black and white people be related? I have a black cousin. Yeah, right then.
These guys are not related.
Then why they have the same name?
They
don't. Meek Mill. Oh, Mill. His name is Meek Mills.
Meek Mill.
So we think that's him. And then there's a Grammy Award-winning R&B singer who was in trouble with law enforcement after assaulting a Bajan millionaire. Baja. That's Rihanna, right?
No, Rihanna's from Barbados.
Yeah, but she was off. There's evidence that she was the one who got in trouble. She assaulted a Baja billionaire. She's not Baja. It was a Bajan millionaire.
Someone assaulted a millionaire.
A billionaire.
And what?
They were named in this also, but their name got redacted. So a lot of people think that this is actually Rihanna. And that's redacted because she's too big. Because you got other people in here I don't even know. Young Miami, I don't know who that is. Prince Harry, he's in this. Bishop Jakes.
What is this? A lawsuit against Diddy?
And these people, because they helped him make the money, and they basically, they prospered over all the bad stuff he was doing. They all prospered off of it, and he even named Casey Ventura. Is that who that the other one is? Casey
Cassandra is her real name. Yeah,
but Casey Ventura is her last name.
Ventura, yeah, I think it is. Mm-hmm.
So apparently, he's saying they're suing her part of it too because she benefited from all this. So she's saying she only benefited because she was put in a position to be used around. And I don't know if she couldn't get out, she was afraid, or she really wanted to be a singer. Those were the jokes in the day too. Oh, you gotta sleep with your way to the top, and it's like those aren't jokes. People are really, and they're not even choosing. It's like, no, you're fucking me. I don't care what you say. You want to make a video, you're fucking me, and it's crazy.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, and there's a couple more people I don't know: Smokey Norfolk, Fahim Muhammad, DeForest Taylor, and Jose Cruz. So and there's also there was apparently his plane was flying to the Caribbeans, but he wasn't on it. So I don't know why his plane was like. Are they taking other people? Do you think he put money on the plane to send it over? So if he runs, he has like cash on hand.
Probably.
Because
he
it's only
probably
a matter of
is
time,
on the
right?
run. They were saying that he's probably in hiding now over this shit.
It's just crazy. So maybe you're right. Maybe we should change. It's time to start changing America's culture.
Yeah.
This thing where we don't fix anything until it's broken, which is part of the reason why these people are getting sex trafficked, because people know what's going on. And it's like, well, if it's nothing's, and I guess you need somebody to say, hey, this is happening. But like when that happens, they push it on the rug too. So it's this whole thing. First of all, this is why I think America is run by a secret organization, because the music industry or anyone with money all act the same way. They all get caught up in the same bullshit.
Right.
It's like they're getting like, and if you were running a secret organization that controls the country, wouldn't you give the power to these people who are making you billions of dollars and like, oh, you're no longer needed. You're taking too much of my money. It's time to get rid of you. I'm going to tell everybody what you did. Because it's just always comes out. And you would think, oh, well, people coming out every year saying something. They've been coming out for years saying something. Why all of a sudden, like, oh, now we're going to do something about it? Because the powers and be was like, I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm not going to do anything yet. All right, now I got to get rid of them. It's too much. So, you know, let's be mindful of our weaker people. I'm not saying women are weak, but we're all vulnerable, especially sometimes in sexual ways. Women, like me, okay, perfect example. Me and Blue were walking the dogs. Blue pulled off a little bit, and I went to the store to get something, and I came out, and I was sneaking around, hiding from the dogs so they wouldn't see me, and I'm hiding behind this pillar, and a woman comes up. He goes, I'm just doing this because I'm a woman. I had to check. Do you know this guy?
Yeah, so I was with the dogs, and Sky was creeping up on us, and the lady I saw Sky too, so I knew what was going on as well, and I guess the lady saw that I was also like, you know, trying to hide from Sky, so she's like, hey, are you okay? Are you all right? And I was like, oh yeah, like that's their dad, like, don't worry. She's like, oh, you know, just woman to woman, I wanted to make sure you were okay. And I was like, okay, yeah, thank you, whatever, but I don't know, I left feeling like, you know, I'm glad that she looked out for me, but it felt very weird, like, I don't know, white woman savior type shit.
Well, what about that guy
we
almost
need more
beat up in
saviors
Brooklyn?
out there.
What about that guy almost beat him in Brooklyn?
Yeah, me and Sky were arguing. This was in the beginning of our relationship. We were a little bit toxic, and we were arguing, and this guy's like, hey, do you need help?
Well, first, let's back up a little bit, because we were screaming in the street. And I felt bad because, first of all, she was being very hormonal. So hormonal, my family, when she stormed out the room, my family asked if she was pregnant. And so we get outside, and she's crying, and she's throwing a fit, and I'm feeling terrible, so I want to give her a hug. That's how like, oh, shit, you feel bad. I'm going to give you a hug. How she deals with stress is, don't fucking touch me.
Yeah, kind of wait till I cool down. I'll come
then
to you.
Then give me a hug. Yeah, I'll hug you. Don't hug me. So I'm hugging her, and she's pushing me away.
And I'm like, you know, get off me. So this guy's like, do you need help? I'm like, yeah. The guy drops his bag.
First of all, he didn't drop his bag. He turned around, went to the fence, put the bag down, and like opened it, I think.
No, I don't think he opened. I think he just dropped the bag. Oh, okay. And then that's when you was like, you tried to yoke him up.
Yeah, I jumped on him.
And I was like, no, leave him alone. I begged Sky not to hurt the guy.
So much so that I pulled back to punch him, and she grabbed my arm so I wouldn't hit him. And before you, like, Sky, you're an animal. You should be locked up. This guy, people don't know about
huge. That guy was mad tall.
Yeah, he was like 6'4".
Yeah,
he looked like he worked out. But the problem was that what was I gonna say? I wasn't gonna beat him up because he was gonna help you. I was gonna beat him up because you can't. I don't know if people can't tell from my accent, but I grew up in neighborhoods where you look out for yourself. And I'm from where if you turn around and put your bag down, you're going in the bag for a weapon. Or you're going to turn around and punch me in my face. Like, because if you're trying to calm someone down, you don't need to put your bag down. Sir, can you calm down? Like, no, he meant to attack me. So I attacked him before he could. And I yoked him up on the fence. Big ass dude. I lifted him like on the fence, and I went reared back to punch him in the face. And then I was just like, no, it's my conscience. I just can't do it. I was like, oh no, it's Blue. She's holding my arm. And then she's like, then she goes to the guy. He's like, please, sir, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have involved you. Can you just leave us alone? We don't have a problem. And then later we found out that we were on the Citizens app. Like somebody was looking for me for assaulting you when I wasn't even assaulting you. I was fucking saving you, and you were saving me, and we were fighting, and it's just crazy. Anyway.
We've gone to couples therapy since then, and things are a little calmer. Oh man. Okay.
You know what time that means. You know what that sound means. It's time we have to get out of here.
We're gonna run.
You can find us on Twitter. I hate rushing like this.
It's what keeps me up.
No, it's not. It's Radio Pod B. No, it's Radio WKMU Radio Pod on Twitter. WKMU Radio Pod.
Or just go to wkmu.podbean.com to get all our information, all our videos.
Yes, please follow, like, comment. Like, it really helps.
It's free. It helps us just, you know.
Especially because a lot of you, I've noticed, are coming back to listen to us. So you must like us. So let us,
right? You like us, don't you?
let us grow. Like, comment, like, tell people about us. We're like, especially, you know, if you're enjoying what you hear, if you're not, whatever, just listen to it anyway. I don't care.
But yeah, you know, please check on your friends, check on yourself, check on your kids.
Please look out for those who need help. And it's not just women and children. There's some men who are not as physically or mentally as strong as others, and they need help too being protected.
Yeah.
So it's not about gender or how old you are. Every one of us have our own vulnerabilities that can be taken advantage of. Not everybody is 100% bulletproof.
It's true.
So if you see like bullying, I see it in the street. I don't like it. I try to stop it. So I understand why the guy stepped in, because I've gotten to fights because I've seen bullying between family members or even strangers. It's not cool. So let's just look out for each other. This country could be way better if we stop worrying about skin color and how much money we have, and just realize that the person next to us is just like you. They love somebody. Somebody loves them. Saying that, everyone deserves.
What the fuck? Malfunction.
That's because they're at the door again.
All right, we'll see you
Everyone
guys.
deserves love, even you.
Bye. This has been a WKMU production, signing out.
This concludes our broadcast day. Good night, and God bless America.